What's up, kids? How you doing? It's week 9 of Ask Joe, and thanks again for tuning in and stopping by. We have a few things to do today. Going to answer a couple of questions that have come in over the week, and we also have another edition of voiceover theater. Yes. This week we have a special guest star. Randy Thomas will be joining us on voiceover theater. You've heard of the movie When Harry Met Sally? Well, Randy Thomas and yours truly will be starring in When Tony Met Emmy, a close encounter of live announcers. That'll be in just a little bit here on Ask Joe. But first question is about getting a sore throat and working through it, and how do I work through that? There's nothing worse than not having control of your voice in our business. I mean, when you get in there and you start, doing your thing, and you're always able to hit what you need. I mean, you can find it, in there. And when you have a sore throat and you try to emphasize a word or whatever it is, and you squeak and it breaks, I mean, it's kind of disconcerting to not be able to do that. And then, for me, I start searching around somewhere in the chords. Maybe it's working, so you have to maybe raise your register or lower it or whatever. Of course, we're all speaking from our diaphragm, right? Yes, of course. But it does have to pass through there, so that can be a problem. But one thing that I do when I have kind of like that sore throat, especially phlegmy, let me go get it. I'll be right back. There it is. Alka-Lol. Careful. This thing has been in existence since 1896. George DeLoyo first told me about this, and I said, really? Gargle with Alka-Lol? And he said, yeah, and he swears by it. And you know what? I mean, there are a lot of remedies and ways to go with this, but I've used it now. I guess George probably told me about this 6 years ago. And it's something that was made back in 1896 by this man's grandfather, James P. Withers. It's a combination of menthol, eucalyptus, there's some camphor in it, purified water, of course. And what you do is you just take a little bit of it and you gargle with it. And it's amazing how it cuts right through. If you have that kind of a phlegmy thing on your vocal cords, it cuts right through it. So if you're looking for something, go to your pharmacist. Your pharmacist will be very impressed. He or she will probably go, what? How do you know about that? But I know where my ear, nose, and throat guy is here in Los Angeles. The pharmacy downstairs has these because he recommends them as well. So Alka-Lol, that's A-L-K-A-L-O-L. Look for it by name. Maggie says, when's the right time to add ISDN or Source Connect to my studio at home? Well, the thing is, Maggie, it's pretty expensive, as you know. ISDN, the box itself, I mean, that could be anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000. Source Connect is much more affordable. The problem is not a lot of studios have Source Connect yet, and you'd probably have to use a bridge, like out of here or something like that. So really, I think the rule of thumb would be if you don't need it, if you're not using it every day, you really don't have to pay for it right now. Don't get into that whole expense right now. If you start to get some sessions and they're asking for you to do them ISDN, it's cheaper to just book a studio and find a studio that'll give a talent rate. I always ask that when I'm out of town and I'm booking an ISDN studio. So I would say it's more cost-effective to just book out studios when you need ISDN. Then if you happen to come up with a client that is using you weekly or a couple of times a week or more than that, and they want you to be ISDN, now you can weigh the pros and cons of, all right, should I really spend right now? Perhaps you can find one that's used as long as it's been refurbished and well taken care of. So I would say wait until you need it. And in the meantime, book studios and get by that way. Well, that's it for the questions this week. It's time now for voiceover theater, and I'm proud to say that Randy Thomas is our guest star this week in our little classic. Randy, of course, you probably know as the voice of the Tony Awards, the Academy Awards. She's done the Emmys in the past. She's obviously one of the top live announcers out there. And she's also the voice of Entertainment Tonight. You'll hear her on promos every day and also in the show. And so Randy Thomas and yours truly now star in our voiceover theater presentation, When Tony Met Emmy, a close encounter of live announcers. Please enjoy.
Senorina, I'll go get your car. How will I know which one it is?
The license plate. It says Randy Thomas on it.
I saw that car. Nice. Big license plate. It's a pretty fancy dress there. So what are you working on these days?
Tony's, New York.
Oh, I do the Emmys, but not this year.
Why?
I don't know, they went a different way. Yeah, when I found out, it made me throw up in my mouth a little.
That sucks for you.
You do radio imaging?
Major markets.
Major markets.
Wait a minute. There's no shame in voicing small market radio stations. You do game shows, don't you?
Yeah, but they're on summer hiatus. 1 versus 100, Deal or No Deal.
Oh, I love that show. Does Howie Mandel ever talk to you?
All the time. But he won't shake hands. Don't try it, he gets kind of freaked out about it.
Really? Although I hear he likes a good knish.
Well, that may be true.
The license plate. It says Randy Thomas on it.
Oh, is that what it says? I thought it said Rena Di Tomas. It sure is a pretty fancy dress. I'd give a month's worth of Fox promos to see what's under there. See that guy sleeping on the table to the right of me? That's my agent. Drinks like a fish. See that guy sleeping on the table to the right of me? That's my agent. He falls asleep during my auditions, too.